Back live at ringside, and Roy Jones, he ultimately succumbs to the same time clock, which marks time for us all. But he created a style inside and outside the ring, which you and many other great fighters have attempted to emulate. And I know that you have one indelible personal memory of his visit to your gym in Pensacola. What happened that day?
Yeah, he came to Pensacola on the healing tour that he was doing. And he did a thing for us at the auditorium. And he came to the gym before we went to the auditorium to do the thing. And he asked me to get in the ring. So I'm thinking, Ali, this old, get in the ring? Okay, what could he possibly do? So we get in the ring. He said, get in that corner. I got in my corner. He got in his corner. He said, you ready? I said, yeah. He said, round one. Bing, there, bell rings. He comes out, and he's serious. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to see what he got, you know? And I'm looking at it, and before I knew it, he's already taken my jab completely away, got me defensive, fighting him, but waiting to see or looking forward to see what he's going to do to me. How did he do it? I have no clue. But then after I got through, I had to think about it. And I said, you know, this is one of the tactics that you learn from him. How could you beat the teacher at what he taught you to do? And it was the most memorable moment of my career because nobody to that point ever had gotten in front of me, the great Roy Jones Jr., in a boxing ring.
Fabulous. Fantastic memory. Max Kellerman, your recollections.
I've spent way too much of my life preoccupied with Muhammad Ali. You know, thinking about him, talking about him, watching him, listening to him, reading about him. And like so many, and I've seen him in crowds, everyone looks at him, Muhammad, it's me. You know, we have this special connection. And of course, I feel the same way, which is why so many of us around the world tonight feel like we've lost someone in our family. But, you know, and of course, he's this enormous figure in the countercultural revolution of the 60s and 70s. He's emblematic of it. And more than that, he wasn't just swept up in history. He was a catalyst in that countercultural revolution. And yet, all that said, and everyone likes to talk about the impact he had outside of the ring, it simply wouldn't have had the same kind of force had he not done the impossible inside the ring. It was impossible to beat Sonny Liston. That was just never going to happen. It was impossible to get up from that left hook you just saw from Joe Frazier, the greatest left hooker ever, in the 15th round of the most brutal fight anyone ever seen. But he got up 3 seconds later and finished the fight. It was impossible to beat the invincible George Foreman, but he did it. It was impossible to survive the Thriller in Manila, but he did it. All the kind of resonance now of his life outside the ring, I think, was amplified by the fact that he was, in fact, the greatest heavyweight who ever lived.
Well, he was my hero as well, which makes me one of hundreds of millions on the planet, particularly for those of us born in the post-World War II era and who lived through the 1960s. The 60s were a decade which, in many ways, belonged to Muhammad Ali. And that unofficial title, the greatest, can be debated in a variety of ways, but to me, there's no question on one simple pretext. Try to think in your mind right now of any athlete, male, female, in any sport on the planet, who you think would give up 3 years of their life, 3 years at the height of their competitive and money-making power for a socio-political principle. How many other athletes would do that? None. There was one. There was only one.